G'day people, I'm Sharyn and welcome. If I were to be facetious, I would say that the top 5 reasons your overlocker or serger was not working were threading, or threading. But I'm trying not to be facetious. So number 1 is very definitely threading. I'm assuming that there is nothing actually wrong with your machine, so that all of the things that might be making it not work are to do with user error. The first one of those will be that when you threaded it in the wrong order. Lots of overlockers and sergers require you to thread them in a particular order. If you don't, they may stitch for a while and then a thread breaks, usually the lower looper, so you rethread it and you stitch for a while and the thread breaks, it'll be the lower looper, so you rethread it and you stitch for a while and the thread breaks and you're ready to throw your machine out of the window. Check up there for the fix for that. It is an order thing. As a general rule, if I had a machine brought to me that wasn't working, I would completely unthread it and rethread it. Is there something caught somewhere? There is a possibility that's happening, and it's really hard to see it if you are just looking at an already threaded machine. It's very difficult to notice those little bits that are out of place because our eye wants to see them as being correct. That's why I would always unthread a machine completely and rethread it. In your threading, did you miss a guide somewhere? Sometimes you haven't been aware that there is a guide, and just getting it through all of the guides will solve your issue. Once again, that's why I like to thread from scratch on a machine that isn't working. And finally, in the threading area, have you made sure that all of the threads are properly bedded into the tension discs? If the thread is just sitting on the outside of the discs, not completely pulled in, that will change all your tensions, and it is a threading issue. The next thing to cause a problem is the actual thread. When I am doing a tutorial, I will thread my overlockers with 4 or more different colours of thread to make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. However, I know that those reels of thread work well together, that none of them are a problem. And by the way, when you send your machine to be serviced, your technician will do their servicing with threads that they know are good and that all work well together. When I borrowed the Elena 792 from my friend Velma to do the tutorials on that, it arrived with 4 black threads, but one of them was a different brand of thread. It didn't matter. I removed the threads as part of the tutorial, and then I did my tutorial, and then I put Velma's threads back on. The machine wouldn't work. I changed which threading it was doing, whether it was on 1, 2, 3 or 4. Every time I changed it, it still wouldn't work. The best way I can describe it is that that thread felt greasy and sticky, sort of like a cup that's been left in a kitchen too long without being washed. I can't give you any real indicators of which brands of thread to buy. It will vary from country to country. However, even if you've got 4 of the same thread, you may find that there is one of them that is a bit weaker. This is particularly true if you're using black thread, and if your weak black thread is on your lower looper, it will often cause a problem. You may find that just by switching around your lower looper with one of the other cones on your machine, you are able to solve your issue. The next issue is that you have a switch somewhere on your machine that's in the wrong position. Janome and Elna, for instance, on some of their overlockers have a switch to take you from 3 and 4 thread overlocking to 2 thread overlocking. If you do have that switch in the wrong place, nothing you can do will make the machine work for 3 and 4 thread overlocking. Just to make things more complicated, the switch just looks like a thread guide and can easily be overlooked. If you've got a 644D, a 744D, a 604D, a 634D, please check out my threading videos because they do actually explain where that switch is, and you really don't want to have it in the wrong place. Also, you can have your rolled hem pins in the wrong place because you happen to have been doing rolled hem at some point and you'd forgotten. Or maybe you've bought a second-hand old machine and not realised that the plate that is in the machine is for a rolled hem, not for regular sewing. These things do definitely make a difference. Also, the cutter can be in the wrong place. These are all things you can play with, but if you've forgotten where you've left them or didn't really know that they were able to be moved, they will make the stitches look poor. Many machines made in the last 20 or 25 years have got a switch to take you from standard tension to the correct tension for a rolled hem, and it just flicks from one to the other. If you've forgotten to flick it back, that will also muck things up. Additionally, make sure when you start out and you're trying to work out why your machine isn't working that all of your tensions are back in their standard position. Differential feed similarly can really upset what your machine is doing. It can make it gather, it can make it stretch fabrics. And not because you intend it to be so, but because it just will. Check that you've got your differential feed in the right position and try and work out how it operates, because it's a really good function if you know what you're doing with it. Check out my video up there. The final thing I want to talk about is your needles. First of all needles have a lifespan of about 8 to 10 hours of sewing. That's actual sewing time, not the time they've just been sitting in the machine doing nothing. It is particularly important to make sure that you are using the correct needles for your overlocker or serger. Most of the Genomes require you to use a ballpoint needle. My Baby Lock needs me to use an EL needle. Some machines will write that on the machine, others do not. Check in your instruction manual to just see which kind of needles you're supposed to be using. Also, make sure that your needles are all the way in. It is correct that in an overlocker or a serger or a cover stitch machine that the needles will be at different heights, and that is achieved by pushing each needle as high as it can go in the machine. This is not something for you to fiddle around with and see if you can adjust it. It is just put the correct needle in as far up as it can go. Overlockers or sergers are amazing machines. They can't do everything that your sewing machine can do, but the things they do wonderfully well. I know a lot of people find them a bit intimidating when they first get one, but it's just a matter of getting used to it. I am doing as many threading tutorials as I can because I know threading is a big scary factor with overlockers. So keep an eye out. If anyone in Perth has got a Genome Sterling that was purchased from Aldi and they would be happy to let me borrow it for a while, I would love to do some tutorials on that because I know you never got any real support with the machine. And now, go away, have a play, and I'll see you next time.